Hey guys, so today we're going to do a little simple demo, which is my 3 steps to sketching heaven. Now, so I often think sometimes it's fun to break things down into different components. You can sort of bite it off in easier chunks than looking at the whole thing and going, whoa, that looks like a lot. One of the things I'm most proud of this channel is just to try and get people to have a go, you know. And I see people having a go and, you know, taking these things on, and it lifts my soul a bit. So yeah, let's have a go. So I'm going to miss out this post in the foreground, and I'm just going to sketch it bold as brass, nice and fast. So I have a 0.2 Unipin black fine liner, and I'm going to keep this as simple as I can here. So we have the pavement. Now some of these, can you see that? This, I'm going to put a bit of perspective in it because I want to be able to get the feeling of that there's something going on, but not too much. So I'm trying to keep the pen on the paper as much as possible. I'm using a sort of continuous line method. There we go. Now within here there is, oh, my pen's running out. 2 panes. Like that, and then some fill panels. And that door actually splits in half, so that might be nice to show. And then some other fill panels there. And a door handle. And a door handle. Right, not even in line with that, but ever so slightly higher up, we have another door with a slightly larger lintel. Not lintel, what do you call it? A windowsill. And then this one is very teasingly slightly open with a bit of a plant sticking out. There is a number on there. Right, so you can just about see up here some of the windows, which are the same. They're sort of like partially open too. But the sort of hero of this really is this amazing washing line. So there's one at the back there, which I presume is for your smalls, and then at the front there's another one. So here I could put some pegs on. I presume these are your personals back here. This is why I wanted to do this image. I think anything where you have sort of details like that are just inherently fun. I think that's some kind of bed sheet on there. And then we have just trying to do a few of the at the top of some description there. And there's actually a coat hanger there, which is interesting. Right, so I always remember my mother saying she used to love seeing washing blowing on the line. So yeah, I think before things like tumble dryers became just absolutely, you know, common, a lot of people, certainly when I was growing up, you know, would just dry their clothes out, hang them out on the line. And then there's another thing here. Should we put another pair of trousers? I quite like the trousers. They are quite funny. And then there's something hung up here, some kind of vest. There we go. So that's it. That's very, very fast. I've completely simplified all that. I haven't put really much surplus stuff in at all. I'm going to put the shadow in, but again I'm going to keep it relatively simple. This is a bit abstract as well, it isn't strictly true, but that's going to be the shadow area there. We've also got a little bit of shadow down there. So that's really simple line work. As you can see, there's not a lot in it really. You could continue this up here. Now I have my St. Petersburg White Knights watercolour set here. These are great, they're very punchy colours, they're very bright, and this is what my kids have been using to learn watercolour with. So it's an absolute mess. I don't really care about that though. All I want is a few pretty basic colours. We've got quite a simple green background. I'm not too bothered about going perfectly around the clothes, but I want to do a little bit of a avoiding job, and likewise with these sort of window areas. I think one of the joys of, you know, urban sketching and the speed of loose sketching is it actually teaches you to be less of a perfectionist. It teaches you to be less self-critical and actually more to appreciate the sort of language of just marks and the value of quickly made marks, and how they actually have a lot more spontaneity to them, and a lot more vitality often than more sort of considered marks. A soft sort of potter's pink almost in these. So I'm going to mix a bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of this madder rose. I think that's what it is. That goes super well with this green. It's a really, really lovely combination, that actually. And then we have this door, which actually I'm going to start with a yellow ochre as a base, and then later on I'm going to go over that with some slightly darker bits. So for this floor area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a wetted area. I'm going to get some French ultramarine, and then I'm going to get some of the burnt umber. Oops, I'm going to stop that banging. And then actually going to just add the burnt umber into that, like that. And again, it has some splashes. It's a bit more vitality if you mix it actually on the page. Let it do its thing, let the watercolour do its watercolour thing. It'll benefit from it. So at that stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently hair dry it. I should really let that just sit. But anyway. And then I'm going to paint in some of these clothes. But that's primarily the first lot of colour done. French ultramarine there instead of a black. I mean, looking at the reference picture, some of these clothes are black, so I don't really want to necessarily use them. Okay, and then we'll just, I think, use some sort of lightish dark, a bit of brown on those ones. Now towards the back we have some of those other little bits, don't we, that I put in at the beginning. And I might choose again a sort of little colour pop for those because they're only small. There we go. Right, so stage 2 on that door. I was going to do some slightly more woody looking sort of textures. Could he probably go even darker on some of that, but You'll do. Oh, and I've just noticed we do have a little plant here. And I'm going to imagine that that plant is a geranium with a bright pink flower on, just because I'd find that pleasing in that spot there. Okay, so we do have some shadowy areas here, which I can put in now. I'm not going to be shy about these. I want them to pop. So that's a darker, it's this red, and I've just put some purple in there. Like that. And I'm going to do the same up here. And the same there, like that. There is a few other bits that I guess I could put in, but let me go for a slightly blue tone here on that side of the drain pipe as a tiny bit of shadow. I quite like that. So that is basically just a little bit of a grey blue there, and I think that shadow colour will actually work quite well for the washing. Okay, where are we at then? So what I might do is quickly hair dry that again, because I want a crisp line between, just going to dry that puddle, between the washing and the shadow behind the washing. I think that'll be important. And it also means I can put the shadow in around the door, because that's still a tiny bit wet. Oh, looking through the camera lens, this looks like a butcher's shop. It's all sorts of interesting, strange colours. Okay, so really for this shadow area, let me turn this around. These are the kind of rough greens that I've mixed up. If I put a little bit more French ultramarine in there, darken that down a bit, that should be a good shadow colour for... I just put a tiny bit more green in, knocking that for around the washing. Okay, so let's do that. Now what I might do with the washing is I might use the gel pen to add in some highlight sort of things on the clothes rather than getting too fancy. I think it's a faster way, and these tutorials for at the moment in this section are, you know, very much about simplicity rather than many elements to processes, or, you know, I'm trying to keep it pretty simple really. I'm going in and adding a lot more blue in there because this was a shadow colour that I was putting in, and as you can see, it was just not really pokey enough. And one of the things that you'll know if you've done any watercolour is as soon as it dries, it loses lots of its intensity. So it's really quite important to, particularly with shadow areas, to almost oversaturate them. I am going to put a tiny shadow under there, and a tiny shadow under there, and a tiny shadow under there. While I've got some paint here, I've got some brown on the go. I might put just a few more little spatters in the foreground, and then pull them out. So I really want them to be very much foreground, and I think I've got a bit carried away there. So just a few little dots. See, I've not got enough now. Okay, so I'm going to do one last blast with the hairdryer. Have a quick look and make sure I've not left any important areas. I think that's fine. And then I'll put the final black details in. Right, I'm going to, just with a fountain pen, I'm just going to fill in some of these dark areas. Now I'm going to use the food pen just because it's better at covering large areas quickly. Now I'm kind of hoping that this will come together a bit. But you know when sometimes some drawings just come together right at the last minute and it all clicks into place and you go, oh yeah, there it is. It's not doing it for me yet, so we'll see. Oh, do you know, I can see it now. I can see it coming. And I think what it is the shadow on the clothes actually looked a bit heavy-handed, but now I've got that black in, I don't think it is. Okay, so just as the final touch here, as I said before, I was going to use my gel pen, and I'm just going to add in a few little lighter areas on the clothes. And that's really just to break up those shapes as much as anything. So I think that's the last stage done with the toning. We've got some in the shadow area under there. As I say, super simple. That doors worked really well. I like that. I think that is really fun, and you can see where the browns and the blues have not fully mixed on the floor, so you get that lovely sort of gradient effect. So again, we have, just to conclude, we've got your 3 stages. So you have your simplify stage, which is where this drawing is done in a super simple way. And then you have your colour stage, where you put down the main colours in the sketch. And then you have your 3rd stage, where you'll actually put down your tones and shadows and sort of finishing bits. The reference images will be linked in the description. You can download that from my website. But I'll give you back to the other bloke who's going to chunder on about summit. So what do you think to that then? It's good, isn't it? It's a nice simple one, quite a straight on view. You know, I often recommend, if anybody's new to urban sketching or anything like that and you're not sure about perspective, just try a straight on view. And it can be really fun and something quite simple. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Hope you did too. If you've got any comments or any ideas for any videos, just let me know. Let me know down below. Do like and subscribe. That'll cost you now, but it does really help the channel, pushes it forward. And if you want any more info, I don't know why I'm doing this. I look like I'm arm wrestling myself. If you want any more info, do check out my Patreon, where for a small monthly fee, you can get a whole back catalogue of stuff, and you can message me directly and share your artwork and stuff like that. So yeah, have a look at that. I think there's some links somewhere floating around, and there's my online shop where I sell original art pieces, and yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on if you're curious. Right, I'm gonna walk the dog. See you later.